Hello everybody, my name is Mehran and welcome to another episode of The Sunday Thing. You're watching this on July 26th, which is the last week of July. We're almost into August, and it's kind of scary because I very vividly remember making the hey, it's summertime Sunday thing like 3 days ago. But a lot has happened since then, and let's get to talking about what's going on. Also, the microphone arrived. If you've watched the last week's episode, you know that I had a little bit of an issue with crazy thunderstorm, which usually signals the end of the big heat wave. Usually the heat waves that happen in this part of the world end with crazy rains. I was out there trying to film something cool, and the rain completely killed my old microphone. However, the heat wave was supposed to be over, but as is apparently being reported on the news, maybe another heat wave is coming. Right now, when I check my phone for temperature stuff, it says that next Thursday we're back to 39 degrees Celsius, which is almost like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It is reported that Sunday, I'm not filming this on Sunday, I'm sorry, the fourth wall is now, like the illusion is now broken, but apparently on Sunday there's going to be rain. We'll see. I would like to begin at our first mid-roll with talking to you a tiny bit about what I recently learned in human psychology called the Parkinson's law. You know, I have a lot of, I guess, abnormal habits and weird things, but for me, officially, the beginning of an album or the beginning of the finalization of an album is always with one of these, you know, charts. These are the tracks of the album. These are the states. So track 1, track 2, all the way until track, I believe, 12 or 13. And we have composition production. We have all of the guitars, including acoustics. We have bass, if it's necessary to like do something with bass. All of the vocals, any extra sauce that I might need. And then when this thing is ticked, it means that we are going to be in album state. And album state means that I have a singular, sometimes double, like audio file that is ready to be sent to the distributor or the redistributor, whatever, to be put out on like Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere else. And now, why isn't my camera? I really feel like since last week, something has happened to this camera. It seems to be working okay-ish for now, but I feel like its days might be numbered as well. Now, as you can see, the heat wave, as well as I think so, my personal like depressive wave, they have both passed us, and I'm once again ready to jump back into the fray. I'm going for a little walk towards one of my favorite locations in the city. Honestly, pretty much everywhere in the city is somewhere that I like to go to, maybe save for a couple, and those are because they're usually extremely crowded, like touristy places, which makes me think maybe I should make a couple of videos about. I had a couple of videos, I think. One of them was like the cathedral area with my friend whose contract was finished a few months back. Anyway, what's going on, what is happening, and you know what, let's just wrap. It's hard to even believe that like almost a week ago, we were looking at 39, 38, sometimes even 40, a couple of times, 40 plus degrees Celsius. I think it will be like 70, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, I think, or maybe 100. I think it's above 100 Fahrenheit. And now we are looking at a very nice 26 degrees Celsius, and I feel like this number is going to go up a bit because we aren't even near August yet, but I kind of feel like that the worst weather in terms of the temperature and the lack of humidity might be over. I don't know. I hope it is, because I have a very short window of time to really finish the album, which incidentally is the reason for this mid-roll. I would like to talk to you a tiny bit about, I actually wanted to make this a separate video, but I feel like, nah, I'll just put it into the Sunday thing because it allows me to be more, you know, more rambly, which is imaginable apparently. And that is, I'd like to talk to you about a, I guess you could call it maybe an economic terminology, maybe it's sociological. It is a state of mind, or it is a unwritten law. Maybe you could call it a law, I don't know. It is proven, and it will make sense to you in a second, but I kind of want to go to a nicer background and talk to you about the Parkinson's law. Well, I was kind of hoping that the park would be a little less crowded, but once again I miscalculated the fact that the people living here, they are surrounded by cold weather, like 8 months, 7 months of a year. And so once the heat wave is over and there's some greenery around, everybody rushes to the local wildlife. And so I gotta find a quiet place to sit and talk. Let's see if I can find any. Meanwhile, enjoy these greenery images. There's a lot of people here. And that means that my plan of going somewhere cozy and talking about the psychological effect of the Parkinson's law cannot happen, which is fine because talking about something like that was definitely my second priority on the list. My first priority was to just go for a little bit of a hiking, walking, running situation, which has been quite successful, I'd say. I come here pretty frequently, I'd say. I don't think I've ever been to this part of the park before. Kind of cool. And the problem is, since there's like green everywhere, I kind of might be lost, but that's okay. It's better to be lost and to be found than to never be lost at all. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's get back to the Parkinson's law. I think it will make sense to you in a second. So there was this writer, satirist, like the person who writes comedy. I think the pronunciation is, I don't know, I'd pronounce it as satirist, who wrote in the Economist like 7 years ago about something called the Parkinson's law. Now he explained this as the human ability to extend an activity's execution time to fill the period of the activity itself. For example, let me give you an example. Let's say you have 3 days to do something, and in a fair and honest way, the execution of that activity would take you 3 hours, right? Mentally, you kind of want to extend it in the 3 days so that you fill in the time. Does it make sense? I hope it does. And I see this a lot in my classes with my students, because a lot of times the assignments, the stuff that we give them, in reality would not require more than an hour or two to be completely done. However, most of them, having 1 week, still prefer to finish everything in like the last minute. There's also maybe an allegory between maybe you've heard of the fabled tortoise story, the tortoise and the hare, like the rabbit and the turtle going on some kind of a run situation, the slow and the steady won the race, you know what I mean? And that I think it kind of is true for everybody. I still consider myself somebody with a decent amount of discipline and the ability to adapt to different situations. And time and time again, I have proven to myself that when I set my mind on doing something, that thing will be done in due time. I think I've been able to do that pretty reliably, but even I sometimes kind of grow complacent and lazy and bored. And I talked about my mood swings last week in the Sunday thing, but I think everybody goes through these moments that you say, I just don't want to do it now, I have time. And that could be a very good survival tactic, not to go completely crazy, but also I think it's a very poisonous thought. And finally, I think there's a lot of power chained and linked with deadlines. And a lot of times the deadlines need to be, at least for me, they need to be externally imposed. Like I say, all right, I have 2 weeks to do this. I probably will be able to do it by day 12 or 13, probably. But if the force, if the exposition, if the obligation is coming from somewhere else, let's say I have a meeting that I need to have something prepared for, guaranteed, or something like that, that kind of makes me finish everything in day 9 or day 10. Then it gives me 4 days for perfecting, refining, polishing, you know, things of that nature. And I think the imaginary deadline that I have given myself for like November might be getting cut short, because something that's been happening, and I've been keeping it under wraps, I haven't really been talking about it much, is it is possible that early-ish in September I may have to travel again for like the 3rd or 4th time this year. As we get closer to the date, I'll probably share more details about it. But since that travel is going to be since that journey is going to be extremely important to my career here, I kind of want to make sure that the first takes, like the first final takes of the entire album is ready by September. Now I'm recording this towards I think on July 19th, Sunday, which that means that this morning you have seen this week's episode of the last week's episode of the Sunday Thing. So high timelines and time dilation. But I have around 6 weeks to do everything. That means everything you saw on that paper at the beginning of this mid-roll, recording the guitars, the bass, the ear candy, the publishing, the production, the composition, all of those things, as well as the vocals. And that's going to be a problem. That is going to be a huge problem, because, I mean, if the weather stays like this, that's good, because I could probably realistically get the vocals done in my space. But if it gets hot and out of control, I might have to go somewhere else, like a studio, to get some recording done. Now, if we do some quick clown math, we have 12, 13, maybe 14 music pieces that need to be ready. And I say music pieces because a couple of the songs are segmented. Like the opening song, the opening track of the song is like a 2.5 minute instrumental ambience music, and the ending of the song is something relatively similar, and I treat these two individual pieces as two separate parts, despite the fact that they are going to be linked to the first and last songs of the album. Still, that means if we have 6 weeks, I need to do 2 to 3 songs per week, and by do, I mean everything. Should be fun, should be fun. And now finally the question is, can I do it, and will I do it? Can I think I can. Since this year's February, every week, sometimes every 2 days, I have been watching tutorials, reading and researching music production stuff that I need for my project. And every week, as is evidenced by the Sunday Thing, I have recorded, mixed and produced one small song for the Sunday Thing. Given to the fact that all of the songs are things that I have done before, so like there really wasn't any extra production. I wasn't song writing, I was song replicating. But still, practice is practice, and practice makes perfect. So for the can part, I think I can. For the will part, that is a question that I am going to answer in the Sunday Thing episode 30. Hold on, if we're episode 29 this week, and I have 6 weeks, let's say 7 weeks, 29 plus 7 would be 36. So probably in episode 36 or maybe 37, I'll probably have the answer. So I should remember to answer this video in 7 weeks. Anywho, thank you for coming on this little bit of a hiking, walking, talking head rant with me. Parkinson's law is a thing that you extend the time of an activity to fill in like the time duration. Really funny. People are funny. I also remember looking at a thing that said that the human brain is not programmed to keep the body happy, but to keep it healthy. And so we tend to gravitate towards familiar things, complacency, rather than new things. No. This is kind of new, but at the same time it's music. So anyway, enough ranting, back to me in the future. When I was thinking about the performance song of the week, I have multiple choices. One thing I can do is I can play one of the newer songs. Another thing I can do is I can play one of the older but never released songs, or I can play a cover. And for this week, I chose to once again play a song that I have never published before. And in fact, I made a vlog about this song like 8 years ago. and I'll put the vlog like here and here. You can see probably for yourself. And the vlog is like, it's very bad. It's really bad. But it, I guess, shows you about what I consider to be consistency in the way I look at my musical life. My passion, my mission, my everything is always about, you know, keeping going forward. I do not like to be like stale and standing still. It is good to know how to meditate, how to zen, how to just relax and chill, but I need to keep moving. The next mid-roll that you're going to see is going to talk to you a tiny bit about the funniness of that specific song. And I'm filming this around almost midnight, and I started working and recording I think around 10 or 11 a.m. I had a couple breaks in between them, but I've been working on music for the past almost 9-10 hours nonstop. And I also finished the performance song of the week's video as well as mixing the song. And I edited it a few hours ago. And as I was, you know, the song I chose is a song I never published. It's called As Flowers Bloom. And as I was editing and as I was working on the video, I kind of like, I remembered that many years ago, in fact, I think, let me check, November 2019, my 8th video. The 8th video on my channel, I went to the studio and I tried to explain the process that I was going to go through to make As Flowers Bloom, the song that I never published. I am going to enter my 30th birthday. I'm gonna be 30 in a week, and they say that 30 is the big one. Apparently, good stuff starts happening to you once you're 30. I hope so. I really hope so, because I've not experienced awesome times all the time during these past few years. And the reason that I'm at the studio right now is that I've been working on a personal song for quite some time. I realize that most of these vlogs are about music. So I guess that makes me one of those guys. And in that video, I mentioned a couple really interesting points. I'm gonna link the video down below as well as like here, whatever. And I don't know if it's a good watch because it's almost a decade old, and the audio quality in it is basically, I have put my phone on like some kind of a stand, or I don't know, maybe like a box to just record and talk to the camera. And I recorded that a little bit before my 30th birthday. I mentioned that in the video as well. And I was, those years were the years that I was going through a lot of problems. And I never really talk about these things in my channel. I don't intend to begin now. Just want to say that those years were like one of the lowest lows in terms of my mental stability, as well as like my general mood, and like my brain was not really braining very much. And I mentioned in the video that in that video I mentioned that I wrote the song like 7 years prior. So we're talking about a song that's like 15-16 years old, and I never published it. And as I kept watching the video and I looked at the next video that I published, which was like 6 months after, I remembered that birthday, like my 30th birthday, I fell into this crazy bad depression, which led into like some really led me into some really dark places that I didn't even start, I didn't even continue making videos. And I never finished that song. Or maybe I finished that song and I never released it. And I don't have that audio file that's in the video. I have a couple other versions of the song that I worked on throughout these past 15-16 years. But it led me to thinking, some stories in your life you tell, and some stories in your life you just don't. And maybe that song, maybe the song As Flowers Bloom, is a song or a story that I just was never meant to tell. Am I ever going to record the song and release the song as an official release? I don't know. Crazier things have happened. But one thing that is clear is that I was looking at the lyrics of the song. Let me actually pull up the lyrics. I mentioned this in the performance song as well. This is my lyrics writing capabilities like 16 years ago. I changed my place, I changed my time, I changed everything around. I heard the same morbid song. I hearkened here to be the one. Doesn't even rhyme. I cracked a smile upon my face of my painting on the wall. There's a grammar mistake here. It should be I cracked a smile upon the face of my painting on the wall. Okay. That jealous frame broke the glass. That's a cool personification. And left the tears right on the floor. So broke the glass and the tears. I think I was trying to be poetic. I don't know how successful I was, but I saw the light in your eyes like a rainbow in the night. Rainbows cannot exist in the night. Rainbows' sole existence is sunlight, like the reason for their existence. Frenzied inside my heart, I made a song, I made it right. So I guess I rhymed night and bright. It's like an A-B, or maybe an A-B-C-B situation. But for the other parts, there's no rhyming here. I watched the rain, I watched the snow. I felt the warm call from above. Can a call be warm? All the words and all the roads lead me here. Like everything prior to this phrase was in past simple. So I watched the rain, I watched the snow, I felt the warm call from above, all the roads, all the words, and then I say, and then I use present simple. Lead me here. Should be led me here, but I said lead me here. Then we have the chorus. So we have 16 lines of verse, and then we have 4 lines of chorus. As sun gets cold, okay, as moon runs old, I guess moon is like getting older, as black cloud cry, as seasons fly. So I went for like a nature thing. Out of this room, as flowers bloom, I stay awake here for you. That's the chorus. Bloom and you kind of rhyme, but I don't understand. Like, out of this room should be out of that room. There's so much inconsistency in the lyrics. Do my lyrics, like the modern lyrics, are they as bad? Well, I don't want to say bad, but as like unprofessional. But hey, you know, this is actually very inspiring because, you know, I started writing and I never stopped. That is, in my opinion, that is a huge plus. I don't know, it's just very funny. It's just really funny. And I remember I wrote this story for somebody who really liked flowers, and I was trying to like cheer them up because they too were also going through like a bad period in their life, and me being me decided to, you know, I guess cheer myself up through cheering somebody else up. You know what I mean? You know how you help somebody for your own ego, kind of like that. It's really funny. It's really funny. Anyway, I wanted to share this story with you. If you have time, if you're still watching this video, I recommend going and watching my vlog number 8 called As Flowers Bloom. It's so bad, it's actually good. It's really funny. And even in that video, I mentioned in the middle of the video that one of my biggest problems in music production is the engineering, like the technical stuff. Like almost 20 years later, I still have the same problems. I hope I'm better now. Otherwise, like my life has been incomplete, for lack of a better word. Ironic, because we have a song on the album called Incomplete. Unbelievable. One of my favorite songs. Anyway, back to me in the future to wrap the video up. And I'm sorry because the correct microphone will arrive in like maybe tomorrow or a couple of days from now, and hopefully it will be before the day that I record like the main video for the Sunday thing, so the audio is going to be better. I'm very sorry. If you saw last week's video, you know why the microphone situation has happened. But hey, onwards and upwards. Back to me in the future to wrap the video up. It's gonna be fun. It was really fun. All right, trying to wrap up this week's Sunday thing. Something you need to know is I've been extremely busy with creating videos. I've filmed, I think, 4 or 5 album vlogs. I don't know if I've posted all of them because I've made them, I edited them, I prepared them, but I post them on different dates. I think you may have seen a few of them. And throughout the next week, I will put up a couple more. But then it's going to be just, you know, heads down, recording and finishing the album. And Al was here and I tortured her for several hours with the backing vocals of the album, but As you can see, the backing vocals of the album are pretty much finished. The first song is instrumental, there's no vocals. The second song, we didn't do it. This one, The Descent, is also an instrumental song, so there's no backing vocals. But for incomplete, you see there's a question mark, and that question mark is we don't know if we're going to put this song on this album or not, over this recording or not. We'll see. For now, what I'm excited about is that hopefully within the next 4 days, I will be finishing all of the guitars. I've found a very efficient, like I've become more efficient in recording thanks to the Sunday Thing videos, as well as like working very consistently. And funny enough, my own education, because a part of my master's education is in engineering. And one thing you need to know about engineering is that ultimately, when you look at a problem, you look at it with the solution goggles, and you say, okay, how can this be solved? How can this be solved efficiently? And the problem of recording guitars, for example, or bass for the album was a problem that I needed to find a good, efficient way to do so. And this is our 29th episode. That means for the last 30 weeks, I've been recording at least an hour, 2 hours every week as an excuse, as a pretext for these videos. And so I've become a lot more efficient than before. So yay, consistency. And I could talk to you a lot about everything that I have planned for the next several weeks. But for now, what I want you to know is that things are going in a very nice direction. The album is sounding magnificent and huge. First time for me that I'm going this crazy. And I have a couple of interesting plans for releasing and marketing it, but we'll get there when we get there. I think next week's Sunday Thing, which will be the first. Right, I think it's going to be the first week in August. Allow me to, yes, exactly. August the 1st will be our next Sunday Thing. I think by that week I will have a very couple interesting things to talk to you about, specifically on the artwork and the design philosophy of like the visual, the aesthetics of the album. I'm expecting a couple of things to be delivered within the next few days. Then we'll go do some photo shoots. Then it's going to be Photoshop time and Lightroom time and just design time. But until then, thank you so much for watching these videos if you're still watching them. I hope the crazy way of telling my stories is interesting for you. I'm having a great time making all of these videos. It's kind of getting addicting. And I have a bad tendency with like addictive behavior. We'll see where this leads. Stay safe, stay sane, stay awesome. Enjoy this rendition of As Flowers Bloom. I'll see you next week. Have an amazing rest of your day, evening, morning, night, and I will see you next week. Peace.
I changed my place, I changed my time, I changed everything around. Heard the same morbid song I hearken here to be the one. I cracked a smile upon my face of my painting on the wall. The jealous frame broke the glass and left the tears right on the floor. I saw the light in your eyes like a rainbow in the night, frenzied inside my heart. I made a song, I made it right. I watched the rain, I watched the snow, I felt the warm call from above. All the words, all the roads lead me here. As sun gets cold, as moon runs old, as black clouds cry, as seasons fly out of this room, as flowers bloom, I stay awake here for you.
I just noticed that the chorus ends with basically saying that I'm outside your window and waiting for you to fall asleep or wake. It's kind of creepy. What was I thinking like 15 years ago? Anyway, I honestly like the way that I was able to mix the vocals with the piano because it's a very like unburdened composition. There's like a piano and a pad and some vocals, and I'm onto something. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and see you next week.